So sounds to me, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You are developing the Wikipedia for XRPL. So it sounds to me like it's going to be one of the most powerful tools if done right for someone who's either trading the XRPL market or just wants to investigate what's going on.
First ledger shining bright, web page open to the light. Trade meme coins day and night, XRPL takes flight.
What's going on, crypto degens? We got another episode of the Trident podcast, and today we have Mr. XRpedia. XRpedia, how you doing?
Very good, Jamie. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Just excited to see crypto back up and firing. I mean, the prices are a little down, but the energy is back on Twitter, which is what I like to see. So that's really exciting, and I'm just excited to get this podcast back up and running and get a lot of projects out there.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to be here. And yeah, just like many of us, I think I've got a blindfold on, just not staring at any charts. And I'm going to keep building this thing.
Awesome, man. So before we dive into your project, I do want to know a little bit about you and kind of your crypto journey. So go ahead, tell me a little bit more about how you found crypto in the first place and how did you end up in XRP and building this project? How'd you, yeah, just tell me about your journey with crypto.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a long journey. I've been on and off the crypto rails for a while, but I've been mostly on. But the way it started was I had a roommate of mine back in the university days come up to me and he was like, "Hey, have you heard of Bitcoin? We can create a server here in our dorm and you know, we'll just make money." And I'm like, what is this? Magic internet money. You know, you can't just fire up a computer and it just makes money out of thin air. So, you know, I wrote it off like many others back in the day. And then, of course, it ran up to a few $100s and blew everybody's minds for those of us who were paying attention. But I wasn't invested, but that's how I got introduced to Bitcoin. And then it was many, many years later, I think around like 2018. Yeah, 2018, I think. I was always paying attention to crypto because I was always a computer nerd and interested in that stuff, but wasn't sure if it was the right thing to do to invest in it. I didn't understand it too well. So my friend, actually the co-founder of this project, Skeletor, he's the one that introduced me to XRP. And because we were both living overseas at the time and sending money back and forth to our families and being aware of the fees, and you know, you send money to your family and it takes forever, and I was introduced to XRP and it was solving a problem that I understood very well. I invested in it. And I wasn't an investor at the time, so I made all the mistakes everybody else made. You know, like you buy when it's green, you sell when it's red, and before you know it, you're a little wrecked. Luckily, that was just like over a couple of $100, nothing life changing. The market crashed. That was my first bull cycle. Second bull cycle, I came back. Went almost all in on XRP, and then they got sued by Gary. So
Good old
unfortunately,
Gary.
I had maybe like 10% of my portfolio everywhere else in the market. So I still got to ride the wave up a little bit, but not as much as I wanted to, of course. And now this is my third cycle, and I've been in XRP for a long time. And yeah, when I was introduced to the idea of building something on blockchain, I was aware that my coding experience wasn't there, but I'm an extremely creative guy. I always wanted to create something on the blockchain for the community. And now with XRP memes and First Ledger, it gave me that opportunity to easily create the meme coin, but then I have a lot of experience in web design and all and graphic design as well. So it put me in a position to leverage my skills to create what I created.
And what I mean, it sounds like you've been in XRP since the beginning. But what made you want to just build on XRP rather than just build like on another chain?
Many things. So, 1 second. So Well, ETH I experienced during the last bull market, playing in ETH a little bit and different NFTs and coins here and there. It's super expensive, a little clunky, and not that fast. And I also had the experience of spending $300 on a gas fee for a failed transaction. And so that wasn't really a place conducive for building something convenient and good for the community at large. Solana, well, I wasn't too much into Solana and not paying attention to it as much as I was with XRP. So I kind of missed the boat with Solana, and then Pump.fund came out, and you just had a meme coin launching every 3 seconds there. So how do you want to stand out and make your mark in that market?
Yeah, I
And
think Pump.fun did a lot worse for Solana than anything else. I think it was a lot of bad press.
yeah,
I played around with Solana early on, before all the Pump Fun stuff, before all the crazy meme coins. And after I saw Pump Fun, I was just like, yeah, I'm just not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I don't want to be anywhere around that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you could throw a dart, million darts and not get lucky once. And just like you said, I don't think it was good for PR. I think more people got hurt than benefited. And what brought me to XRP to build a meme coin there was a guy called Murad. I watched some of his videos over the summer of 2024. I wasn't a big meme coin believer back then, but I watched his presentation, and it made me realize that we're in a new era where we're able to tokenize a lot of things that weren't able to have value before. And meme coins are tokenizing culture and many other aspects of our lives. So that kind of flipped the switch on meme coins for me. I dabbled a little bit on Solana, got to see what the culture was there. I wasn't really finding anything that I was gravitating to. And then First Ledger came out. I was introduced to First Ledger by BC Backer. I've been watching him since I think I was in his 20K-ish followers. So
Same here.
Yeah, nice. So he talked about it in one or two of his videos. I finally checked it out. And I was like, oh well, I'll see how the wallet works here. I created one within like a couple of minutes. I sent my few XRP to that wallet just to test out if it does work. How legit is it? Can I conveniently buy and sell other meme coins? So I was just experimenting with 10 or 20 XRP in those days. And then I saw the create a meme coin button and went exploring there. And then I was like, you know what? I'm interested in this. I think with my creative skills, with my Skeletor, the other dev that's on the project, he has a lot of audio production experience. He's got a contract with Universal Music, so he's he's reputable. He's got a good track record of making good quality beats and productions, and he's been my best friend forever. So with our two skills combined, I figured, hey, we've got a good shot at making something that's got a little bit of quality. I did my research. We wanted to create something that's completely unique that we haven't seen before in the meme coin space. And worked on the branding, worked on the idea, and then on a very late night, I hit the mint button to create the meme coin. I thought I'd be going to sleep, but it turned out to be a really interesting night where I got 5 minutes of sleep. People flooded the TG, and it was all hell broke loose. The chart was going nuts, and a night I'll never forget. But I could get into that a little later.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. You have a very similar coming to crypto story than me. Early on, like in high school, I had a very techie friends was studying computers, and he told me, he's like, hey, there's this thing called Bitcoin. We can mine it on our computers. Let's set up this rig. We were just kids in high school on summer vacation, just talking. That's the first time I ever was really exposed to Bitcoin. It was an afterthought. Didn't really think much about it. And it wasn't until a couple years after that I was working in wholesale real estate, working for a company, and my assistant, just a young guy trading in forex and crypto, tells me about XRP. He's like, "Hey, this is really cheap crypto. It's gonna solve these bank problems. Like, there's a lot of potential here." And I just took a peek at it, and I slowly became completely obsessed. And I mean, that was back in 2018, and ever since I've just been accumulating a bag, finding out what Ripple's doing, finding out what other people are doing, and as soon as First Ledger came out, I thought it was a really cool opportunity. I had never touched meme coins besides a couple NFTs in the past, but when I saw XRP, was blowing up with meme coins, I was like, you know what, let me give this a try. And it's been because a lot of people criticize meme coins, but I think the biggest thing that it has done for me personally is I've been able to connect with other people like yourself that have been so long in XRP, and we get to share our stories together. I've never had a community like this with XRP, and it's all thanks to the memes. So for me, these meme coins are more of a community attraction tool, right? It's a way to get all these people who have common interests and blop them up together so they can share their stories. And it's been a really cool event, cool story for all of us.
100%. I mean, I'm glad you touched on that. I tend to go off on a lot of tangents and forget what I wanted to say, but that is definitely something that needs to be highlighted. Last bull run, when I purchased a couple of NFTs, I found myself in Discord groups and Twitter spaces, clubhouses, and it was all rallied around Ethereum communities, which, they're great. But yeah, I definitely always understood the problem that XRP is solving much better. And when I look at XRP and, they have Ripple that's championing the technology, they're working on real world problems that are easy enough to understand. They've got these contracts and agreements with banks. You've got a face, Brad Garlinghouse, that's associated to the Ripple company, 1,000 employees, 900 or 1,000 employees that are all working at Ripple. It just seemed like, out of all the other crypto companies out there, this is one you can actually believe in. Brad's been on, I think, CNN. He's been on Fox News. He's been everywhere. You can search YouTube. And
they were a clean-cut company that just looked like they were doing everything right. And I was like, why is this not more popular? I didn't understand.
Same. And the level of hate, too, for it, I didn't understand either. Like, another thing that convinced me to use XRP and to invest in it back in the day was Skeletor. He was like, "Hey man, I know you're on the fence," because I was on the fence for maybe a week or two before I pulled the trigger on buying XRP. And he's like, "Listen, just take $20-$30, buy yourself some XRP, and we're going to interact with it." And back in the day, you couldn't do too much with XRP, but you could definitely send value from one wallet to another, and it was instant. And it's still instant to this day. You don't wait more than like a couple of seconds before the transaction's through and you see these funds in your wallet. So when you're thinking of how good the technology has been, the track record, the transparency between, like, you see a face to the technology, it seems like a no-brainer to me compared to everything else that's available in crypto. But yeah, I've always, I'm very much on the center, when it comes to politics, when it comes to any issue that's being debated. I like hearing the contrarian argument.
Yeah.
And I've always got my ear open for like FUD on XRP because, hey, who knows? Maybe I got it wrong, but I still haven't heard any good cases for why, like, so many people, poo-poo on it.
Yeah, for a long time when we were sitting down at 40, 50 cents, there was moments of doubt that I'm pretty sure a lot of us had moments of doubt where I was like, am I missing something? Am I missing something in all this craziness? And like you said, I never really found that smoking gun there. I was like, oh, this is why everybody hates them. And I just stuck to my guns, and it seems like we are getting paid forward for all of our holding, you know, all of our dreams. I mean, it's crazier than I would have even imagined. Brad Garlinghouse is sitting in the White House and right next to Trump. So it's been pretty crazy, and I'm very grateful for all the hard work that not just us, but a lot of other content creators in the XRP space have put in to find all these nuggets for us, and you know, keep our morale high and keep our spirits high throughout the bear market.
Absolutely. I think if I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for people like BC Packer. You know, like
Absolutely,
he's able to just
absolutely.
show you the charts, tell you to chill. He's the one that taught me that this whole market is about manipulating emotions. And that's certainly something that I do not take for granted, especially on a day like today. You know, we saw the market dump like crazy. I'm not even stressing. I'm not even looking at the charts that much. You know, I'm aware of what's going on in the world of crypto, but you know, I'm here to build, and I'd rather focus on that, something positive, something that I can keep growing. And yeah, you know, there's a lot of noise out there. Try, you know, I try my best to not get distracted by it.
Biggest thing that BC Backer ever taught me is to be stoic in markets. You can't
Mhm.
let the markets move your emotions, because then you're never gonna accomplish anything.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's good advice.
But with that said, we'll dive into your project a little bit more. Before we do, just want to say a few words to the audience. If you're watching this, if you've gotten this far, please drop a like. And the biggest thing you can do is repost this. Repost doesn't cost you anything, and it gives XRpedia exposure, it gives me exposure, and future projects that might want to be on here, it gives them some exposure, and they can go ahead and watch this. Please and thank you. With that out of the way, XRpedia. Last night, I did a deeper dive into your project. I was looking at your website, read your white paper, really, really cool stuff. And I was playing around with your index, which I love. So, sounds to me, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you are developing the Wikipedia for XRPL. So it sounds to me like it's going to be one of the most powerful tools, if done right, for someone who's either trading the XRPL market or just wants to investigate what's going on. But I would love for you to enlighten me. Tell me a little bit more about the project and what you got going on.
Yeah, you got it right. It's an ambitious project. You know, when people think of memes, they're usually just like interested in the character, a little bit of a lore, and some funny memes, which we offer all of that, but a little bit more. And yeah, that is almost exactly the intention of the project. XRpedia is clearly a play on Wikipedia. We're trying to be the Wikipedia of the blockchain. How do we achieve that with like a small team that wants to grow and build for the community and build the right way? You know, we're not trying to take shortcuts and going with coals and that kind of thing. So we've built out a project on xrpediacoin.com. It's the meme library, as you pointed out. And there is an index there with 80 plus projects already, over 500 memes. I've built out a voting system on there as well. There's a sort function as well where you could see. You could sort by date published. You could sort by popularity based on the voting function. There's a search function as well to search for your favorite meme coin. And we're always adding new coins and new memes to the library. That's an approach where we're kind of niching down in terms of the marketing. It's so right now we're just focusing on the meme feed. The idea is that any project on the XRPL could share the XRpedia website with anyone they want to onboard, and it gives them an overview of the entire community. You know, what are the best memes? Who are these different projects? Every project that's in XRpedia as well has its own profile page. So you'll find an about section for each project. You'll find links to go buy their token or go check out their chart or go see their X page, that type of thing. You'll also see their own meme feed as well. And that approach is kind of a build first, promote second. So I come from a startup background, and in startup land, you would create an MVP, a minimum viable product, to present to investors. And so that was my approach. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm some random guy, invest in my token because I am just saying all these words and talking about a vision. The approach is more of a, I've built the vision, I've built the MVP, go check it out. It works. If you like that vision, come and invest, come and be part of the community, and come help us build. And so we've built out our lore as well. We've released our first chapter of it. It's on the website. I've been working on implementing an SEO strategy as well. So that's a little bit more boring, but all this stuff under the hood of XRpedia, I'm starting to build out these SEO functions so that when people search XRP memes or anything related to First Ledger or other meme coins, XRpedia should start popping up in Google. But SEO is like a long-term thing, so it's going to start working in a few months, I imagine. But yeah, did you have a question?
So a lot of things. So my favorite so far from just playing, I mean, I saw the website yesterday and just browsing through it, especially the index, I was like, wow, there's a ton of potential right here. I mean, even though it's not fully built out, but I just see so much potential in being able to just click the project and you have a brief summary. And then I know you guys are also working on getting a history of different meme coins, which I'm super excited about. Almost like if you're using Wikipedia. And then, of course, the memes. And a question for you is, how would a project add things? Because I didn't really see it, or maybe it wasn't just clear. How would, if I was a project that I wanted to add memes or add information to my project already in the index, how would I go about doing that?
Yeah, so there's two ways to do it. One is currently live, which is just DMing me, right? It's a really simple way. Just DM XRpedia. Tell me you want to change something about your profile. I'll make it happen. The second is the vision of the project. So if we're successful in raising some capital for this project, well, then the money will be allocated to hiring a developer that has some coding skills that are more elevated than mine, and coding skills based on your knowledge of XRPL and implementing a project into the blockchain, and also working with wallets and being able to connect them. So I said that it would be like a true Wikipedia experience in other conversations I've had. So that is the intention. If you go to Wikipedia right now, anybody can just edit an article. It's managed and governed by the community. So if a random person comes in, changes some information, the person who wrote that article, the community at large, would then step in right away and say, hey, that's not legit. That's not true information. Rejected. Or approved, So the vision is one day you'll go to XRpedia and click on connect your wallet. And we're still working on exactly how we're going to govern this, but it's probably going to work with our future NFTs, right? You hold a certain NFT or amount of XRpedia tokens, and you can now go into the system and edit it and contribute. And I'm not trying to gatekeep it, so it'll probably be like just a simple way to get in through your wallet and update information. So maybe you want to add memes, you want to remove it if you own the project, or you want to add information. And then just like Wikipedia, we want to have more content on there that's educational, that's historical, and another tool for onboarding people to XRPL, right? So we've got another community member that's working on tutorials right now on how to create a wallet on First Ledger. All those types of things we want to host on XRpedia. And so, yeah, I need a developer that's got a lot more experience than me in coding these things. It's not because I'm not capable. I am capable of doing it. There's just a lot on my plate. And then the second thing is on the security front. I want someone that's very highly qualified on creating a secure wiki experience that won't get hacked. And so I need a little bit of help in that department as well.
Gotcha. Okay. that kind of ties into the next question I had, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. But in terms of the funding, like how are you planning on funding this? How do the tokenomics work in terms of the XRP token itself? Just off the top of my head, an option, if we're going the whole Wikipedia route, we're just adding a tipping function to the actual website. Anybody who's interested can just leave a tip. I mean, that'd be huge. But yeah, go ahead. Tell me a little bit more about what you got in terms of the tokenomics.
Yeah, totally. So we're still working on that, but there is 5% dev allocation on the coin that I have not spent or don't plan on spending anytime soon. That may be burned, that may be used to hire the developer. My intention with that was when I created the coin, I just researched what other successful coins had done. They had allocated 5-6% of the dev for a dev wallet. So that's what I did. Then when I launched, I received the advice like, hey, if you're not sure if this will hurt or benefit the project, the best thing you can do is don't do anything at all. So right now with the dev supply, the strategy is to not do anything at all. And once the community grows to a point where I've got like some trusted members that are constantly showing up, the intention for the dev supply is to talk to the whale holders, talk to the community at large for XRpedia to determine what we're going to do with that. We have been suggested by a couple of people as well to create a tipping function on the site, just like Wikipedia does. Like, hey, you believe in the project, you like this thing, give us $3 every month. So yeah, that wasn't the strategy when I created the coin, but since it was brought up by a few people in the community, that may be something that we launch. And with the SEO efforts that I'm working on at the moment, at the core right now, when you look at XRpedia, it's a directory site. And so there's a lot of power in there with SEO if you do it right, which I do have experience elevating SEO functionality on websites. So the idea with my SEO efforts is that if I can create enough traffic to come to XRpedia, I can start leveraging Google Ads on it. And I know ads are boring and nobody wants to see them. Well, just get an ad blocker. You won't see them. But ads generate revenue. And so, yeah, if once I can get ads on there, that will generate revenue that's just outside of anything that we're doing with our coin investors, and money will just start coming in that I can allocate towards hiring a dev and massaging the LP as well. So the intention with the ad revenue that would come out of those Google ads would be to pay a dev, add to the LP, and anyone that's working part-time, full-time on XRpedia, that's where the money would come from. And probably at that point, if I have that running and it's bringing in significant money, then we would just burn the dev allocation and reduce some of the token supply that's in circulation.
Yeah, that's actually, I hadn't thought about that. Putting ads out on there. Like, I just thinking at me as a user, if I'm using the website and I see the ads, I'd actually be happy because I know, okay, well, they got some money coming in. They can start developing this and pushing this further. And from that point, your biggest thing is just driving traffic, right? You want to drive as much traffic to the website as possible. And you're already doing the first steps, which is, I mean, I see you on Spaces hustling, you're helping on the podcast, and you're really interactive on Twitter, which is the first step to get people's eyeballs.
Exactly. I think that, as a dev, that is probably one of the things you struggle with the most is just like, where do you put your time? Because if I'm stuck in the background just deving all the time, building the library, adding memes, all this, but I'm not talking about it and I'm not tweeting or being present on X or other social platforms, nobody knows that you're doing the work, so why do it at all? So, it's a step-by-step process. I have a long-term vision for this project, and that was also a motivator for creating this idea in the first place, is that we could be the meme of all memes. Like, a lot of people, they launch a token or they launch a meme, and it's only going to be good for this cycle, right? Like if you're launching something about, I don't know, the flavor of the day, right? Like, oh, this is trending in the news. I'm going to launch a meme coin about that. Well, yeah, sure. It might go to 1 million overnight, and but it's going to dump just as fast, and it's never going to take off again. But if you're the meme of all memes, where you're documenting all this stuff and you have a large database of all of the different meme coins, then there should be value there that bring people back to the website and to your coin. And there are a few websites out there that are just dedicated to memes, right? But they're not crypto memes. They're just general memes that have been floating around the internet forever. So this one's for blockchain, and we're starting with XRP memes, but as we grow, there's nothing stopping us from documenting Solana memes, Ethereum memes. I lost Jamie. Hey there. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're documenting all these memes.
Nice, man. I really enjoyed it. The first time I heard you speak, it was, or I knew anything about your project, was on Spaces with Ovi, and the idea, just the second I heard even just the name XRpedia, I already knew exactly what it was. It was like it's a perfect name, and my brain was like, oh my god, the Wikipedia memes, that's genius, and it's an archive. And then from there, I DM'd you immediately. I was like, I got to talk to this guy. So I definitely think you're holding on to a winner. It's just putting in the work and making sure that it succeeds. And with that, I do want to ask, what is, in a perfect world, what would this website look like? Like, what's your vision long term? Let's say we're a year or two down the road and you've gotten everything you wanted. What would this website look like?
So I'm very much interested in what's going on with the metaverse. So there's two parts to that question. I mean, I'm looking in the future quite a bit. We already have Expectorverse. There's the Root network that's also run on XRPL that I'm keeping a close eye on what they're developing with the metaverse. They hold the rights, the IP rights to Ready Player One, which I think is like a great move for them. Yeah, I heard an interview with the Futureverse team that created the Root network and the writer of Ready Player One, and they're working with him directly to build out the metaverse. Yeah. And I'm very, very fascinated with their approach and what they're building. So what I'm saying is, we're going to have a metaverse one day. We want to be the library of the metaverse. So you imagine like a building, there's a ton of books. All these books contain different memes and projects. And then we also have like, I was saying like, this project is literally infinite because knowledge is infinite, right? So every project's every library has different sections to it. So it doesn't need to be memes. It could be like, I have a background in creating really funky, cool particle animations. And I created some that are pretty trippy, that go with the music that my producer made. And we created it with the intention of creating an experience watching these things. And they're in 4K, high resolution. In the future, I'm sure I could render them out in higher resolution, but they would go perfectly with VR goggles. Or, you go into the library, you maybe like click or you touch this virtual mushroom or something, and then it just opens up a portal into these like different types of experiences that we've combined, like with music. Maybe we've collaborated with other projects. That's another thing I'm excited for as well, is I've got a lot of DMs open right now, just talking to other projects and seeing how we can collaborate together. The ethos of XRpedia is that we're not here to kill any project. We're here to actually support every single dev and other project that's building honestly and doing their best to stand out in this crazy world. And so that's like the metaverse play. The website, it's going to be probably a hybrid of what you would traditionally see as Wikipedia and what you see right now on the website. So what you see right now on the website is not like a true Wikipedia experience where it's just like a white background and it's just text and maybe an image or two. We want to blend the two together. But there'll probably be sections that look more like your traditional Wikipedia, and then there'll be sections that look like what the current website is teasing right now. So that's oh yeah, and what I was going to add to that as well is something else that we're doing. We're working on documenting the lore of every project. A lot of projects have really interesting lore, and the ones that I really like are when projects come in, they're aware of the lore of other projects, and they create their lore to be in line with someone else's lore, and then they tie it into, you know, the other project. So imagine like a Wikipedia page, but then there's, you know, you might be reading someone's lore, and then there's a link that says like maybe, you know, it's Bear that's referencing the jungle, and well, who owns the jungle? It's Ooga Booga. And so you click on the jungle, and then there's a whole article about the jungle and maybe how like Bear and Ooga Booga share the jungle or something. And then you're reading Ooga Booga's lore, and it might link back to XRpedia, who has a library inside the jungle, you know. So we're trying to also eventually visualize and document everyone's lore. So that's another part of it.
So, a couple things I want to touch on there. One, I mean, when this is done correctly, at least the website part of it, it's going to be an extremely powerful tool. I mean, I would personally use it just for, you know, research on tokens. Sometimes, you know, you want to invest in token and you want to know more about it, but you don't have time to go through all of the telegrams, to go through their website. If everything is put together in one little website and you can just have a synopsis of what that token has done, their lore, their founders, that is huge. So I think if done right, it's going to be a tool that's going to be used. I think it's going to be a tool that almost everybody will be using for trading or just for doing research on projects.
Yeah,
The
thank
second,
you. Thank you.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to make a joke. When I was creating the idea of this thing, I was like, am I kind of cheating a little bit? Because, yeah, I see that future as well, where it's like, oh, one-stop shop to see what's cooking on the XRPL. And, you know, eventually with AI, I can leverage automation tools and to create news sections and news articles on, yeah, what's going on in the XRPL, what are the hottest memes, you can rank them by popularity, those types of things. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I think the roadmap is to create that vision that you're talking about as well. Like if we do it correctly, which we want to do, what I tell people is like, I'm not in a hurry to make a mistake. And I'm sure, you know, in the meme coin space, crypto space, the second that volume comes back, you've got everybody and their grandma just shouting in your ear what you should be doing with your coin. And I certainly did get a lot of that when I launched it. And for the first month it was alive, I've got to say, like, if I had listened to like 95% of the ideas that were being pushed my way, I don't think I'd be here today, because I would have probably made a mistake. You know, like it doesn't take much, right? You just do something to your LP. You I don't know, like you make a mistake here or there, you say the wrong thing, you know, people just don't vibe with you anymore. So, yeah, not in a hurry to make a mistake, and definitely am trying to build that vision of XRpedia that you and many of the community members want.
Love it. The second part that I want to touch on is the metaverse part, and I love it that you brought it up. Back in 2020, I got really involved with Decentraland. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Decentraland, but it's basically
I played around in it a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So it's a pixelated version of a metaverse. I think they did a great job, mostly on ETH and Matic. I got very obsessed with it. I played it a lot, and the concept was foreign, but it was so interesting. There was proximity chat. You can chat with people and just and in your anywhere in your area. You strike up really cool conversations. There were NFTs, there were wearables, right? You can buy NFT clothes and put them on your character, and then it propped up these different little events that would show up. Like there was uh, gambling was a big part of it, so there was gambling all over the place. There was people that were hosting events like music events. That was really interesting because they'd say at 9 a.m. so and so, some DJ is going to be hosting an event, and everybody would congregate. They claimed their POAP, which is basically an NFT that shows you were at the event, and people were just jamming and having a good time. And it was the first time I experienced being on the internet and a sense of community, but it felt like I was there almost. So I was like, wow, this has immense potential. And apart from there's little schemes here and there to actually make money. Like some people had a full-time job on the metaverse when the markets were up. So I was like, wow, there's so much potential. I would love to see this in 10, 15 years because, it was still blocky. It was pixelated. So it was the early stages of what a metaverse will be. So it gets me excited to hear, what you're saying about Root Network and Expector. I'm actually going to be interviewing Expector tomorrow. So really cool stuff. Something I'm very bullish about with crypto in general is the metaverse. It's going to be the next iteration of the internet. I really believe that. And I would love if I could walk into your library one day in the metaverse and be able to pick out some information that I'm looking for. That'd be a trip full circle.
Yeah, me too. The other thing that I think about when I think of the metaverse and will it become a reality, I think we have no choice, but we have no choice. It needs to become a reality. Everyone that's got a finger on the pulse of what's going on with AI, the progress is mind-blowing. And there are things coming out every day about improvements and well, I'm a graphic designer. I'm already seeing like people generate stuff that are very, very high quality in terms of what you could do in a few seconds with a prompt. And what does that look like in a year? What does that look like in 5 years? I can't even imagine, but it's coming for a lot of jobs, which is the point I'm trying to make. And so that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you think of the human psyche and how we were built, I don't think we were built to live in a utopian society where it's like, hey, I don't have to work. And guess what? Like the AI is listening to me all the time. I heard a futurist that's really involved with all the AI advancements. He was asked, like, what does AI look like in, X amount of years from now? He's like, you don't have to think about anything. So you walk outside, the AI already knows that you're going somewhere. It's already got the car pulled up. It's opening the door. You walk in, it's already taken you to the spot you're going to. So if that's reality, then where's the human struggle to achieve something? You're going to find that in the metaverse because we can change the rules in the metaverse, right? You can make something as challenging as you want, and there that will be the place that we can play games and have challenges and a little bit of struggle in our lives. And then we can kind of take the helmet off, go back into the real world and just enjoy our families, our friends, and whatever motivates us to be happy. So, yeah, I'm super excited for what's to come. It is a crazy time to be alive. And I was fortunate enough to see the birth of what we know as the internet today. Like I was on a dial-up modem. I was going into Yahoo and Excite and all these weird search engines that don't exist anymore, and just discovering random web pages. And I built my first web page in a text document. So there were no rules back then. And now when I'm in like web design land and I'm being asked to design a website for a company, there are kind of all these rules, right? If you know like a little bit of UI, UX, like you know that, okay, well, everybody expects the menu bar to be at the top. It needs to have like these specific titles because they're familiar to everybody. You don't want anyone frustrated when they come to your website. But what I like about meme coins and what I'm building with XRpedia is there are no rules. I can kind of build it the way I want to. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's another motto I have as well. Like, I'm a perfectionist in everything else that I do, but in here, I'm kind of free to just, explore my graphic design and explore the design of the website. And if you go back far enough in the timeline, you'll see that the first memes I created with XRpedia don't look at all the same as what they are now. So usually I'm kind of stuck in the branding box of like, oh, here are all the rules. Here's the font you use. Here's the colors you use. Don't ever go outside of the box. But yeah, in this world, you're kind of free to just explore anything you want, which I love.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been crazy to see. If you really zoom out, the internet has been here for a short period of time, and we have changed so much with it. And I'd be scared to see what it looks in another 30 years. It's kind of like you said, AI is going to be so advanced, it's going to already know what to do, and we're probably going to have to create our own struggles and our own problems and our own games. I mean, a lot of us, we enjoy games, and we're just going to pretty much create our own games to get some type of satisfaction out of life through the metaverse. And it's going to be really interesting to see how that develops further. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. So we got big things to come and even bigger things to build.
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't want to drive a DeLorean on a racetrack in the metaverse? Like, sign me up for that.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. There is one more thing I want to do before we log off. A little word association game. So I'm just gonna hit you with a word, and you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, and we'll see what you're thinking about.
All right.
All right, here we go. XRP.
Brad Garlinghouse.
First Ledger.
Sloppy.
Elon Musk.
Crazy.
Vitalik Buterin.
Old news.
NFTs.
Opportunity.
Pineapple on pizza.
Delicious.
And last one here for you.
Last
Last one here for you, Brad Garlinghouse.
Pioneer.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on XRpedia. If anybody wants to follow you on X, what's your handle?
At XRpedia Coin. All the links to finding our website and AMM pool, all that stuff is in the link tree on our profile. We host regular spaces now at 10 a.m. Pacific on Spaces. We call it the Great XRP Crusade, where we chill with other XRP coins. Anybody's free to come up, really. You don't have to be a dev to come up and hang out. And I also wanted to mention on Wednesdays, we started a Photoshop Wednesday in our Telegram group. So that's where I share my screen and I build and create memes with the community. So if you have an idea, you can share the JPEG. I'll make the meme you want, or else you can kind of peek at the process of me working in Photoshop. I've been using it for over 20 years, so I know quite a bit of that software. There's a lot of people out there that want to create, but they I don't know. There's no there's maybe a fear of using a complex program like Photoshop, but I'm not a Photoshop maxi. You could use Canva or other tools that make the process easier for you. But yeah, just thought I'd plug that there on Wednesdays. I really enjoy that time with the community.
Again, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure, and I hope to have you back on soon.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Jamie. Thanks for inviting me. I had a great time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.